From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
The Clinton campaign is bringing in some high-profile names in a bid to get Arizona's vote, why we may have the most influential vote in the country.
High school grad rates are up around the nation, why Arizona won't be celebrating along with the rest of the country.
Seeing a patient on a daily basis and sitting down with them, talking to them about their disease is really kind of ultimately what keeps me going on a daily basis.
How doctors are helping Valley High School students find a cure for cancer.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Joey Carrera.
And I'm Kate Pfeiffer. Thank you for joining us.
The Hillary Clinton campaign is sending 3 political heavy hitters and an extra $2 million in campaign funds to Arizona. Just more evidence that the Democratic Party sees Arizona as a battleground state. A new Wallet Hub study shows Arizona voters lead the way in terms of swinging the 2016 presidential election. The polling site 538.com calculated a power score based on the total number of voters in the state. That landed our state at the top of the list. Iowa, Alaska, South Dakota, and Ohio trail behind Arizona with spots in the top 5. And that means the fight to win Arizona votes is ramping up.
Cronkite News reporter Jesse Canales is tracking the latest.
With 3 weeks until Election Day, high-profile Democrats are on their way to rally the electorate. Chelsea Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and First Lady Michelle Obama will make Arizona campaign stops starting tomorrow.
The last time a Democratic presidential candidate won Arizona was Bill Clinton 20 years ago. His wife looks to replicate that feat.
They're putting money into the state, both in terms of the ground game and in terms of commercial buys. So you don't do that unless you think there is a possibility.
Republican strategist Paul Benz says there is no doubt Arizona has become a battleground state after a poll his company ran Friday of 400 likely Arizona voters.
Early ballots started last week, and we went in the field on Friday, and we found that Clinton is leading Trump with a 2 percentage point lead.
The 2 presidential candidates are facing several scandals. Trump with allegations of sexual abuse, and WikiLeaks posting several embarrassing Clinton campaign emails. Grossfeld doesn't believe they will affect either of the bases, but the allegations against Trump may affect undecided voters.
It is of consequence, I think, to independents and certainly to Democrats, and they're paying attention to that.
Both the High Ground and Nate Silver's Project 538 voting polls show a significant difference in voter demographics for both candidates.
Trump's base is a 65-year-old rural voter, and those folks turn out no matter what.
It is still unclear if Clinton's millennial and Latino supporters will turn out.
The Arizona Republic, the Morrison Institute, and Cronkite News conducted our own poll. The results come out on Wednesday. Live in downtown Phoenix, Jesse Canales, Cronkite News.
Today, Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were campaigning for Hillary Clinton in Colorado. Senator Warren poked fun at Trump's tweet at 3 in the morning about Alicia Machado. She also accused Trump of spreading hate and fear. Hillary Clinton is in a hotel in New York preparing for Wednesday's debate. Running mate Tim Kaine says he thinks Clinton will do well.
She's, feeling good about it. We communicated this morning. She's on her way out there so that she can focus on it, but I think she's going to do a really good job. I think a lot of it is what the American public wants to see is just kind of the demeanor.
Kaine also said Trump's claim that the elections are rigged is offensive to voters.
Well, on the right of the political aisle, Mike Pence claims that the FBI made under-the-table deals in the Clinton email scandal. This comes after new documents released this morning about the FBI's investigation into the former Secretary of State's private email server. Pence claims the FBI proposed a deal to cover up classified documents on Clinton's server with State Department officials. The FBI denies any such deal took place.
Today, the FBI confirmed that the State Department offered a quid pro quo to the FBI in exchange for their willingness to reclassify documents that were marked classified on Hillary Clinton's private server.
A war of words also erupted over the firebombing of a North Carolina GOP office over the weekend. In a tweet, Hillary Clinton called the attack horrific and unacceptable. State GOP officials called the bombing, quote, political terrorism.
Senator John McCain has received criticism for withdrawing his endorsement for Trump last week, and he may be in for more criticism. McCain told a Philadelphia radio station that he wasn't sure if Trump would nominate a better candidate for the Supreme Court. McCain later promised that Republicans would be, quote, united against any Supreme Court nominee put forth by Clinton. The McCain campaign later clarified his comments, saying the senator would fully review the qualifications of any Supreme Court nominee put before the Senate. With John McCain and other Republican candidates retracting their endorsement of Donald Trump, Cronkite News wants to know how that will affect voters' decisions. If this will impact your decision in any of the races in this election, we want to hear from you. You can go online to cronkitenews.azpbs.org to fill out our online query and share your story.
Prop 205 is causing a cloud of controversy in the Valley. Some people have high hopes for the bill, while others want to see it go up in smoke. Reporter Sarah Lichterman spoke with voters about the legislation of marijuana.
The Yes to Proposition 205 campaign was blunt with their message. Recreational marijuana should be legal in Arizona. And they held several programs at the Southwest Cannabis Conference and Expo to educate Arizonans about the benefits of marijuana.
For parents who are afraid that, the legalization of cannabis for adults is going to lead to their children becoming stoners and druggies and things like that, what we say to that is you need to parent.
Teachers, parents, and veterans attended this conference to back their personal motivations on why voters should pass Proposition 205. Lisa Olson, mother of 5 and teacher at New School of the Arts and Academics, uses medical marijuana to help with her multiple sclerosis, but still continues to push for its recreational use to help fund Arizona schools.
When an initiative was written to legalize cannabis for recreational purposes, with the attachment of funding education to possibly the tune of $55 million, that was, for me, a match made in heaven.
This proposition will regulate marijuana sales and tax anyone over the age of 21 legally purchasing it. But all the administrative costs to regulating recreational marijuana will have to be paid before any funding goes to schools.
I think to mislead the voters about medical versus recreational is very deceiving on their end. And we're just very focused on making sure that the voters know the truth about Proposition 205.
The Pro-Prop 205 campaign stresses that it will not change the medical marijuana program already in place, but is meant to open the opportunity for people unable to attain a medical marijuana card. But the campaign needs more funds to get their message out.
We can't have polling at 50 or 51% and be outspent on TV and then win. That's not how life works.
Campia calls for funding in hopes to put out 2 more advertisements before Election Day, after their latest ad highlighting a veteran with PTSD caught the public's attention.
I turned to marijuana and it saved me. That's why I support Prop 205. Help veterans just like me.
Over the next 23 days, Pro-Proposition 205 advocates will continue to generate support and funding for this potent campaign. If you want to say in the outcome, don't forget to vote on November 8th. Sarah Lichterman, Cronkite News.
Some state employees may need to start searching for new positions. The Arizona Republic reports that Governor Ducey's office has involuntarily terminated more than 1,500 state employees since he took office January 2015. Nearly 2/3 of fired employees are a part of a protected class under federal labor laws. A spokesman for the governor's office says high turnovers are expected when a new governor takes office.
The U.S. Department of Defense is making strides in sustainability here in the desert, using the sun to power more than a dozen of their bases. Reporter David Caltabiano went to Tonopah in western Arizona for the big announcement.
The U.S. Navy and Marine Corps are celebrating their new partnership with an Arizona solar company. It's the biggest purchase ever for clean energy by the United States government.
3, 2, 1, lights on.
A symbolic flip of the switch marks the start of a 25-year contract between the Department of Defense and Sempra U.S. Power and Gas. The largest federal purchase of clean energy comes with one of the largest solar facilities in the country, located right here in Tonopah.
Why the heck would we ever consider putting a solar farm here? I mean, there's nothing but wide open spaces and sun every day.
And in one of those open spaces, a solar farm called Mesquite Solar 3. Construction started last year.
Mesquite Solar 3 has created nearly 700 local construction jobs, infused hundreds of thousands of dollars into the Arizona community.
But job creation wasn't the primary motive. The partnership will supply up to 1/3 of the energy required to power 14 military bases in California. The plan has top-ranking military officials excited.
This is a great partnership with Sempra, the producer of the solar farm, but also with the Western Area Power Administration. It's been a very, very great team effort, and this is a significant milestone.
The Western Area Power Administration, known as WAPA, helped make the initial connection, pairing Sempra with the Department of Defense.
WAPA provides energy services like purchasing power for our customers, including the Navy. We help these organizations to meet their energy needs.
And now, Mesquite 3 is sending 150 megawatts of solar energy, enough to power 69,000 homes, to U.S. military bases across the desert. And even though Sempra tells me the details of the financial agreement are confidential, there are no tax dollars being used. I'm told the project is being financed by investors and third-party companies. In the broadcast center, David Coltibiano, Cronkite News.
The light rail expansion project is set to begin next week in Mesa. Nearly 2 miles will be added to the route, taking users to Gilbert Road and Mesa Drive. The cost of the project is estimated at $152 million and will include a roundabout to help ease traffic, making it the second light rail system in the country with that feature.
A new report says more teenagers are finding academic success.
Coming up, President Obama heads back to school to celebrate.
The whole time you were just like, and then he said, girl, I couldn't believe it.
After the president cracked a few jokes, he explained what's next for high school students following an educational milestone.
Plus, a program that helps give Valley teens a look behind the scenes of a hospital, how teens are getting the chance to do cancer research.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Monday, November 21st at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring this year's recipient, award-winning journalist and CBS Evening News anchor Scott Pelley. The annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon. cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
High school graduation rates have risen across the board, with particular gains for Native American and Latino students. Cronkite News reporter Claire Caulfield has the figures from our Washington, D.C. bureau.
President Barack Obama was at this Washington, D.C. school today to announce that the nation's high school graduation rates have reached an all-time high of 83%. Arizona lags behind at 77%, although the state has seen gains in recent years. The president attributed graduation gains to his administration's investments in education, although he expressed frustration that funding has not reached pre-recession levels.
There are still too many states that are cutting back on public education. And part of the reason tuition's going up is because states aren't putting as much money into state education, universities, community colleges as they used to.
Arizona has one of the lowest rates of per pupil funding in the nation, but the Arizona Department of Education said its focus is on management, not money.
We also want to work with our schools, help them use their resources, and work with them to make sure those resources are maximized and that they have the flexibility at the local level to make those resources work for their students.
Arizona high school graduation rates peaked in 2011 and then had an almost 2-point drop the following year. Rates have been creeping closer to that 78% high, but the state is still 6 points behind the national average. The Arizona Department of Education said its focus is on supporting underserved groups like English language learners and Native American students to help boost Arizona's graduation rate and close achievement gaps. In Washington, D.C., Claire Caulfield, Cronkite News.
Students from 2 Glendale schools are back to their normal routine. Landmark Elementary and Challenger Middle School reopened today after being closed for more than a month due to structural problems at the 2 schools. Engineers discovered unstable walls in both schools, which were built by the same contractor. The repairs cost more than $2 million.
Valley High School students are working to find the cure for cancer. They're working and getting paid to do STEM research at the Translational Genomics Research Institute. Cronkite News reporter Alicia Gonzalez tells us how this innovative program works.
I got a close-up look at some of the research students are doing over at TGen. Each intern has to understand and work through the human genome so they can get closer to a solution of ongoing medical battles like cancer.
You're able to be with patients in that maybe most difficult time of their life, and see them through it and be able to offer them whatever you can in order to get them through it.
Dr. Joshua Niska was a Helios Scholar at TGen intern back in 2008. He now works at Mayo Clinic as a resident in radiation oncology.
The program at TGen was really my first exposure to working in a lab, to cancer research, to the medical sciences in general.
The Helios Scholars at TGen program has given about 45 internships a year for the past 10 years to students like Dr. Niska.
Students are getting hands-on experience and using tools like this and getting paid over the summer for their work and research.
We see students that already have a lot of lab experience, and we have some that have none.
The Helios Education Foundation is funding the program to help students find their career path.
A better educated workforce will help drive a stronger economy. And we also know that the types of jobs that are going to be available, there's research already that says 68% of every future job by 2020 will require some type of post-secondary education.
Luna said it's almost not an option anymore to avoid a secondary education.
This higher level of academic achievement is critically important for us to be able to provide the opportunities for our students to be able to compete in a much more global economy, for the types of jobs that they're going to really want to have, and the types of jobs and the type of economy that we're going to want for the state of Arizona.
Around 500 students apply for the program each summer, but they can only hire about 45 at a time. Over the past 10 years, over 400 interns have graduated from the program. Alicia Gonzalez, Cronkite News.
Fried food, fair rides, and culture. Coming up, how the fair is proving to be a unique melting pot.
And as we look at the rest of the evening, temperatures are going to be cooling down. We'll have your 7-day forecast after the break.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm always searching to feel like I fit into something.
We are the people that we are because of our past.
I'm just one of many who stopped being silent.
It's just proof of how far we have come.
Make sure in all the hustle and bustle, we don't lose sight of why we're here.
It all boils down to communicating the lives we live.
If you look closely, they've got a story to tell.
It connects with you in a very deep way.
We wish you love, peace, and soul.
Come with us on this great adventure.
A new study says taking dietary supplements doesn't give you any significant benefits. This is according to a new report from the Journal of the American Medical Association. People spend more than $250 million every year on supplements. The report says that most Americans use supplements at least once a month. The vast majority of people using supplements are doing it without a doctor's recommendation.
Pepsi's looking to make soda healthier. The company is planning to cut down sugar and calories in 2/3 of its soft drinks. By 2025, those products will have 100 calories or less per serving. PepsiCo's non-drink products will also see reductions in saturated fat and sodium. The changes are in response to the consumer feedback and new dietary guidelines from the World Health Organization.
A fair full of greasy food, fast rides, and games doesn't seem like a normal venue for education, but some groups are using the Arizona State Fair to teach attendees about different cultures in Arizona and the world. Reporter Allison Hoskins spoke with some of these groups to see how a fair can be the perfect platform for cultural outreach.
Thousands of people attend the State Fair every day, and groups like Native Spirit and Lights of the World are using this platform to teach fairgoers about Native American and Chinese culture.
This is a great place because they have a lot of people coming in, and they only know what they see in the movies or reading books. And when they come here, they get to speak to an individual and learn from that individual, and that we're all different.
Palmer Lomakina has been a member of Native Spirit since 1997. He feels that their performances give people a look at Native American history and culture in a fun, interactive way.
We try to educate them as well as have a good time, because we don't want them to, sit here and listen to a lecture. We want them to go away feeling happy about it and learning a little bit about it. And, we're just like regular people, we're not... we like to have a good time.
Native Spirit isn't alone in wanting to teach about different cultures. A Chinese cultural event called Lights of the World shows a preview at the State Fair of their larger show that takes place at Rawhide in Chandler.
This year will be the largest lantern arts festival in North America. And in China, we're similar. We use Chinese tradition technician and traditional culture, but you also with the high tech to show the whole world.
Lights of the World is also involving more of Arizona in their show.
The Gila River Indian community came together with the Chinese Cultural Center here and the sister cities of Phoenix and Chengdu, China, putting on this amazing exhibit. So it's something very unique to see, the Native Americans and the Chinese cultural community come together and put this on for everybody.
Both groups say that the fair is the perfect place to share their cultures.
We've been getting good responses. We've got numerous comebacks that come and tell us they come see us every year, and so that's what I enjoy. The people that come back and they remember us.
The State Fair is open Wednesday through Sundays and now through October 30th. Live in downtown Phoenix, Allison Hoskins, Cronkite News.
Well, as we just saw from Allie outside, it's 90 degrees, light winds coming in from the north, and sunny. Just an absolutely beautiful day. And as we take a look at temperatures around the valley right now, you'll notice that we have 91 degrees in Maricopa, 90 degrees in Phoenix, 87 in Scottsdale, so it's pretty consistent. And it's pretty on par with what we have. Today we have the high at 88 for the entire valley, which is what we have as the average. 64, a bit cooler, and 102 degrees in 2009, so I'm way happier that we're in the 80s right now as fall starts to cool off. And we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast here. As you can see, 91 degrees on Tuesday, 93 on Wednesday, and by Thursday we hit 97 degrees. That's going to be continuing for the rest of the week. We go up to 97 again on Saturday. But by Monday, things start to get a little bit cloudy and 89. So hopefully we have some more fall-like temperatures for the rest of the week. Joey Carrera, Cronkite Weather.
A Tucson Chihuahua is rescued along with 39 other dogs. Coming up, how the community banded together to help Rue.
The confidence to lead our country.
This isn't reality television.
I feel like Hamilton reached out from history and wouldn't let me go until I told his story.
I make no apology for my actions. I would do the same again.
How we come so far and yet have so far to go.
Right there, coming up.
In 1920s Melbourne,
careful with the hand luggage. My pistol's in there somewhere and it may still be loaded.
Phryne Fisher is a detective.
Things could get interesting around here.
Thought they already were.
Who isn't afraid to live a little.
I hope you're not concealing a dangerous weapon under that skirt.
I'm concealing a lot of things.
Why do you think you can just run off on your own?
Because I'm carrying a gun.
The irresistible series, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Saturday night at 10 on Arizona PBS.
The Arizona Diamondbacks introduced their new general manager today. Mike Hazen will serve as the GM and executive vice president.
We're committing to winning. We want to win. We want to bring a championship here. Don't have the exact blueprint for that yet, but we're excited to get started.
Hazen was the GM and senior VP for the Boston Red Sox last season. He previously spent 4 years with the Boston Red Sox as the team's assistant GM, and before that in player development with the Cleveland Indians.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, a new report from the Pew Research Center details the political engagement of Americans with disabilities. And we'll hear about how technology is being used to study lightning bolts.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, we report on the rise of the far right in Europe. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
An Arizona Chihuahua born without front legs is now free to move around thanks to a new set of wheels. The dog's name is Rue, and she was saved from a hoarding house last month along with 39 other dogs. Rue was born without any front legs because of inbreeding. The public raised $10,000 to get Rue a wheelchair. Though Rue is now healthy and moving around, the pup isn't up for adoption just yet. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, visit us at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.